last minute.
Oh, that. 45.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. Department head updates.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pretty much the same thing we've been doing, working with the water department, working on water shut-offs and so on and so forth, getting Elm Street and the other two streets ready for pavement. We got the sidewalks ready for pavement, they're supposed to come soon to pave that. Hutchins is supposed to let me know tomorrow, their schedule's backed up a little bit of weather, which is nothing we can do. We got our new dump truck back last week, that's very nice, they did a nice job.
Good.
I think that's about it, one long, we get ready for that.
Who had the cheapest bid for the sidewalk?
Central pavement.
Central there?
10,000.
Yep, good. Good.
As the other thing said, we all working together, putting our resources together on Elm Street, Bunker Hill, High Street, getting ready for the paving. We also did some, getting ready to clean one of the filter beds at the water plant. We ended up having to change all the lights inside the filter bed because the old style fluorescent lights were, all the ballasts were shot, so we changed them all out to LED lights. We've been picking away at that, and now we're going to hopefully clean the filter beds here in the next month or so. Again, working on aerators, it's like an ongoing battle. If all four of them are running, you keep your fingers crossed. And we had one go out over Labor Day weekend, so we swapped that aerator today to put a new one in there. So other than that, I think we're going to be reading water meters soon.
I am. In October.
October,
Yeah.
September.
No, it's October due for November. Yep.
And then our annual sewer line cleaning, the guys are gonna be here Monday, so we'll be cleaning sewers all next week. And instead of doing a zone this year, usually I do a zone every year. And at the end of the week, we go to our trouble spots. Well, it's been taking us longer to get our zones done, so we haven't been able to do our trouble spots. So this year, instead of picking a zone like we usually do, we're actually just gonna spend the whole week cleaning our trouble spot sewers because it's catching up on us. I mean, our sewer system is in dire straits. Probably 2/3 of our sewer system is no good, it's junk. So we're gonna get our trouble spots done this year, and then next year we'll go back to we'll do the next zone that's in line. And we're also going to be putting in a sewer. We're going to be putting another sewer liner in on Middle Street, not the whole street, just a section. And we're also going to put a sewer liner in on the section of Bunker Hill that we're going to be repaving because that sewer's in bad shape. That's about it.
Rusty. We had a conservation group come down and spray for knotweed. They finally got that done, and we're starting to see the effects. Everything will kind of go away. We were pretty inundated with it. It's an invasive species here in New Hampshire. So that's done behind us. Our loader went down last week to Chatham Bay Ross to get some repairs done on the brake system. That's done this week. They gave us a loaner to kind of use in the interim. It was a nice new extend boom. It's not really for us, but we used it while the other one was down now. It was nice of them to do, so we appreciate that. Everything else, we're just kind of getting ready for winter and finishing up things in the building, painting, trim, stuff like that, fixing things up. It looks different if you haven't been down there for a while, so it's small improvements each week.
I have nothing. Chief, this isn't your meeting, so Robin's on vacation this week. When we get to the point, the public hearings for the grants, she left some notes because those were her projects, so I'll convey those messages when we get to that point. But otherwise, that's the department heads for this meeting.
Okay.
I don't have it.
You guys can go if you want, stick around if you want to.
Got Rob wants stuff. That's a question.
Randy says he had nothing, but I saw in the paper, Littleton's considering regional remodeling of their EMS system, and the article was full of compliments about how Lancaster was running their EMS and transport system. So you're modest, but you should be complimented on it.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
All set?
What's that?
All right, next thing, we have 3 public hearings to accept 3, or consider accepting 3 grants. 2 are NBRC, Northern Border Regional Commission grants, and 1 is through Invest New Hampshire. I will go through it based on the order on the agenda. We have acceptance of unanticipated monies over $10,000 to accept the 2023 Catalyst Grant from the Northern Borders Regional Commission in the amount of $50,000 to support funding for the installation of a water storage tank at the town's water treatment plant. So for those of you that don't remember, this was a project that we've kind of been working on for a couple of years. We did get some town support a few years ago, but we were unsuccessful in Northern Borders, so we had turned that money, we had some money held as match. We turned that back to the surplus fund balance because we weren't sure when we had the opportunity to apply for this. Well, Robin did apply for this grant. She proposed it to Northern Borders for $1 million, $200,000 of match coming from the town, as match from the town, which was actually committed by the hospital. The other $800,000 would be for Northern Borders. What Northern Borders is doing with this $50,000 grant is they're awarding us the $50,000 and sending our request to EDA to make it a joint Northern Borders EDA project to bring it up to that $800,000 that we wanted granted. However, the project is a lot more than it was proposed back in, that was like 19, I think, or 20?
Yes, 19.
19.
Back then, it was about $1 million. Now it's it's over $3 million. We have, I think, in the office, we've identified it, and Tim will probably debate back and forth some of this. We feel it's a priority for the town because that section of town cannot grow or develop without this water storage tank. And for fire suppression reasons, for just municipal domestic water usage. So this is a priority for us. I mean, there's many priorities when it comes to water and sewer, like Tim just explained.
So, I mean, that water storage tank, it's definitely gonna be a big asset to the town. For future development out that way, for fire protection for anybody on that side of town, and also for water quality, because because we draw from surface water, we have to make water every day. And, so sometimes we're making water, and that brook looks like chocolate milk, and we have to filter that out. And, so the storage tank would help. We could idle the plant down during heavy rains or turbid water conditions. So it's kind of a win-win situation for many reasons.
So what we are looking at is seeking additional funding from the groundwater trust fund, drinking water groundwater trust fund through DES. The grant round has been announced, but hasn't been opened up yet. So obviously, any of these monies would be contingent on us getting the additional money for the project. So, I mean, Northern Borders knows that $50,000 isn't going to do a whole lot for the water tank, but they're again pushing it through for EDA as well, and then we're seeking additional funding through DES and other avenues.
Yeah, so when I was going through the steps up in Groveton to get the infrastructure up there, EDA had turned them down the first year. The second year, once we had some money and the taxpayers were willing to bond, the EDA flew right through it. And
Yes.
so this will helps catalyze, because EDA is a very competitive market, very.
Right, so we're hopeful because Northern Borders basically awarded it with an EDA partnership. We feel confident that there might have been some discussion internally about that being a
Correct.
successful route, so.
Yeah, EDA likes to see that you have skin in the game, they don't just hand you money. Hopefully,
Public hearing.
yes.
So, is there any condition under which the money would go away, or is that 50,000 ours?
The 50,000 needs to go towards that project.
Project.
Right, but if the project doesn't come through with all the other
But
pieces
the
of the puzzle.
50,000 is not ours.
No.
Okay.
It
So we
doesn't-
accept it, it's unanticipated, and we anticipate we accept it, we don't get keep it.
Correct.
Thank you.
It's happened, there was a big grant to Whitefield a few years ago. That's the only one I ever know of, and Northern Borders, it had to be paid back to Northern Borders.
Thanks.
And there may be some other EPA funding that we're matching out if you want to.
Great, thank you, Erica.
Yeah. We're gonna deal with these one at a time?
Yeah, I think so.
And is there a time for the public?
No,
Yeah.
you can open it, close it when there's nobody has anything else to say.
I would make a motion to,
Rob has the hand
I
up.
just was, there are three items, and the second one is about 800,000, but the 800,000 we were just talking about now is not the same as
It's
the.
for a different project.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
make a motion to accept $50,000 in grant money from Northern Borders Regional Commission to support the funding for the installation of a water tank at the town's water treatment plant.
I'll second it.
Authorize.
And authorize the town manager to sign any and all documents required.
I was gonna say.
Now I'll second it.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think for some of this, Robin has updated you in some of her department head updates as the grant process went along too. So I think these were in some of our other reports. So the next one again is an MBRC grant for Summer Street. Acceptance of unanticipated monies over $10,000 to accept the 2023 Catalyst grant from the Northern Borders Regional Commission in the amount of $849,325.01 to support funding of water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure improvements along the northern section of Summer Street. So what this is back in, I don't know how that was like 17, 18, when we did the Summer Street project, the stormwater, the sewer stormwater separation. We were hoping that we'd have enough money to go the whole length of Summer Street. We didn't. We could only go as far as Indian Brook, so that left the whole northern section of Summer Street undeveloped as far as improving the stormwater, wastewater, and water services on that road. So we had submitted a grant to first we got a congressional direct spending award of $959,000, which would go on with this roughly, let's just call it $850,000. With this award, obviously the CDS has to go through congressional budgeting approval and all of that. So this money would go towards basically finishing that Summer Street project, making some improvements at the Summer Street, Main Street, Page Hill intersection. And again, the whole project, is estimated at about $3.2 million. We have roughly $850,000 in Northern Borders money, as well as, what did I say, $959,960. So that leaves us short about $1.4 million, which we are, again, we're seeking other funding opportunities through USDA. We're looking at USDA. We might be able to look at the CDFA, Public Facilities Grant as well. And so again, that's to do some more stormwater separation from the sewer system, do some roadway improvements, and water infrastructure upgrades along that route. That's obviously probably, anytime we can replace some aging sewer line and water line, that's a win, as far as Mr. Billy.
Yes.
Well, yeah, considering the section of Summer Street that has a new water line, that's the section we didn't have any leaks on. But the north section, which is there must be 20 repairs on that little short section. It's a 6-inch cast iron lead joint line that
That's
feeds
still-
that whole side of town.
The water, that's the water line, right?
Yeah.
So that's what, a few years ago, when you were doing the fair, we ran out of water, and we were making the stuff up there.
Yeah.
Because there was so many, and the leaks were right there at the time. We had no water.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the only example I can give. Rob,
So basically, as I understand the zoning map, that is the commercial industrial zone, so it's pretty important to see that that's supported by the infrastructure, right? Because it looks like it transitions right there down.
well, it ties, but we had a problem with leaks, and then people in Page Hill were without water and stuff. We've had issues with that, in that area.
No, you're right, Rob.
And you are right, but we've had other issues with with houses and everything not having water.
That section hasn't been gone over. I think actually the southern section of Summer Street's been done twice, and that northern section has not been done.
That pipes over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's,
The sewer line isn't that,
yeah,
about 70.
Not,
Yeah.
not only that, I think it's a very heavily walked path that has no sidewalk.
True.
And the drainage on that road is terrible.
There isn't.
I slow down to a crawl, just about push the car past people, because I don't want to flash them. But that, people do walk that, and I hope there's a sidewalk involved. I don't remember. And
This-
I do know that was a controversy the last time we talked about that.
Sure.
Tube sidewalk.
Well,
That road, yeah.
Oh, yes.
we spend a lot of money on sidewalks and then have people not walk on them and walk on the road instead.
So much.
They walk the road anyway. That's
not a
splash, but just don't even slack.
I guess, now,
I just don't have it in me, I can't. No, especially. not
can
that.
any of these grants be used as part of the town's matching funds for some of the other ones, or? Because usually there's some kind of a match that we have to,
So matching, so the town's fundings can only be, so that there is a potential for a match from the town of up to potentially 10%. So that Robin has worked into the budget a proposed town contribution of $510,000. 170 of that is matched towards the NBRC grant, which is about 10%. Plus 10, I'm sorry, 170 plus 10% contribution over.
okay.
You're such a pal.
It's going to be in my file cabinet, or in the packet.
I would make a
So
motion
wanna do what I
to
can.
accept a 2023 Catalyst Grant from Northern Borders Regional Commission in the amount of $849,325.01 to support funding of water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure improvements along the northern section of Summer Street, and authorize the town manager to sign any and all pertinent documents.
I'll second it.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, I just have one question though afterwards. How long are these good for? Because like some of these are 2-3 years. Like we were, other Northern Border grants, we had 3 years to do it.
I think
If you got a thing-
I'd have to look at the paperwork, but I think well, first of all, just, so accepting these, the next step for us to do would be to send paperwork to NBRC, and then we have to, at least one person has to sit through a training, a grants management training for NBRC, and then from there, it goes through the process of executive council and all that. So technically, we don't have the money yet,
Correct.
but then I do believe it's like a 3-year. Eric, it's like 3
Yeah,
years. I
so
think.
you have to come up with your match in the first year. You have to identify that, so that way the money doesn't get sent back, and then you have 3 years.
3 years. So they're all 3, okay. All right. It's a lot of money to match.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yep.
All right. Acceptance of unanticipated monies over $10,000 to accept an Invest New Hampshire municipal demolition grant from the New Hampshire Department of Business and Economic Affairs in the amount of $82,252 to support the redevelopment of the property at 95 through 99 Main Street, commonly known as the Oddfellows Building. So what this is, and again, I think this, Robin has shared this information with you through some of her reports. This is the Invest New Hampshire money. They had different pots of money. Some was the per unit money that went to the town. Some was the development money that went towards creating housing units, affordable housing units, I believe it was. And then they had a demolition grant as well that would support creating housing or supporting housing in a community. And this money would be to benefit the PAC Solutions projects at the Oddfellows Building. There isn't, I know, Leon, you had expressed in the past some concern about having any covenants on deeds or stuff. This doesn't come with any requirement that the units are affordable. And I don't believe that they are designated affordable, correct? Right. So some of the other ones, I think the per unit and the development monies, those grant monies would have to have some sort of affordability requirement.
Yep.
This does not. What this requires is, what this would basically do is pay back PAC Solution the monies that they pay a contractor to do demo work. There's some managing the grant, there's a requirement obviously to vet the invoices, making sure that it actually, the monies that PAC Solution paid out did actually go towards demo and stuff, so there's some work on our end, and Robin is managing that, and we'll be working closely with Sharon, and I assume probably Erica. I assume that's why you're here, not just for the entertainment.
She's here for the entertainment.
So there would be, so in order for us to basically provide reimbursement to PAC, we would have to ensure that all of the invoicing that was presented to us is supported and substantiated, and then we would submit it to Invest New Hampshire, who would then do the same thing. They provide the money to us, we provide the money to PAC Solutions. And are all those units done, Sharon?
No, Ben's still working on the final two.
So
It's Lancaster Realty Holdings.
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, just, we want people to get
And it's-
confused.
Thank you.
the town of Lancaster keeps 10% for paperwork?
There is no grant management money at all involved in this.
I'm kidding.
No, but we had discussed that, I think it would be a great idea, but that's not part of it. And I had a lunch with Commissioner Caswell on Friday to talk about that and future Invest New Hampshire funds.
Okay, yeah, because,
Because we
I
need
remember
to
when
take
any of
care of
these
our
used to-
municipalities and the management of these things.
yeah, whenever I got any for any towns in NCIC handle, they would take their 10% off the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Years ago, so I'm thinking, how else?
Make a motion to accept and invest New Hampshire municipal demolition grant from the New Hampshire Department of Business and Economic Affairs in the amount of $82,252 to support the redevelopment of property at 95 to 99 Main Street, commonly known as the Oddfellows Building, and authorize the town manager to sign any and all pertinent documents.
I'll second that.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's it for public hearings. All right. We have the minutes of the August 21st meeting. Thanks, Erica.
Thank you.
Sharon, is there anything,
you don't have receipt prints.
thank you. Is there anything special on that easement that you want to stick around for, or?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
We can go to that right after this, because it's actually almost done. It's almost there.
No, that's,
I'm sorry.
I bet you are.
I didn't mean to interrupt you guys.
Can I get a motion on the minutes?
Yeah, I make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You want to sign?
Such a long meeting, 17 minutes, I think.
Yes, okay. New business, we'll just jump over real quick, the first item under new business and go to the New Hampshire Service Easement application through Eversource Energy. Eversource has to run some power lines from, sounds like from Bunker Hill.
So from 55 Main to Bunker Hill in front of Dr. Schmidt's office, because you need three-phase power, and that is the.
To the
closest-
55 Main Street.
To the 55, correct, yeah.
Mhm.
So they can't put it any closer than Bunker Hill, which is a big problem for us because it's extremely expensive to, they only provide 300 feet that they'll pay for, and the rest is on LRH 2.
Why do they need three-phase power?
Because of the 8 apartments and they all have mini splits, and we will have an elevator for the handicap
Okay,
accessibility.
okay.
And there's no three-phase on Mill Street.
Bless you.
No,
No.
Really, there isn't?
The only other location they said they could do was in front of the fire department, and they
Go across the
Across the river.
So basically, there needs to be an intra-service easement application, because they're going overhead, over the
Parking.
parking lot.
Yep.
Are they gonna have place some additional poles in the parking lot?
They didn't really present anything that I know of other than just this easement.
And they didn't present that to me because what they were saying about the parking lot is they really couldn't put anything in there. So I even had asked them if they could attach it to our, because we have a pole, actually 2 poles, I believe, in back of 95 to 99 Main Street. And they couldn't even attach it there. They said, no, we can't do it.
So it must be all new construction, all new poles, everything, I would think.
I wish I had the answer to
No.
that. I
Yep.
don't honestly know.
Okay,
All I know is we have to go all the way over there.
yeah. My guess is there'll be new poles. Finally.
Do we need to take any action for that? Or-
this is just
Well, it's, I
information.
mean, I think you guys would have to approve it because it's an easement on town property, over town property.
Make a motion to approve the New Hampshire Service easement application.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Now you can leave.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you for reminding me about that.
No, I didn't know much about it, so I'm glad you were here.
Thank you.
New business still, so for those of you prior to this meeting, you guys were provided a letter from Chief Charbonneau, who has since retired. He said his retirement date is of September 1st. So obviously that leaves us without a chief. We do have Sergeant Woodworth is here, who is Chief Charbonneau's number 2. I would like him to at least be appointed the acting interim chief. We are going through, unless you want to consider it too. You can have it too. We did post the job internally last week. Typically, we put it out there for 2 weeks. We have gotten one internal applicant. We can decide, I mean, just so you guys understand, the police chief is your responsibility. You guys appoint them. You guys are the only ones that can remove them and appoint them. So that's why this comes to you and not just to me. So anyways, very simply put, we need a police chief. Sergeant Woodworth is Tim's number 2, so he's the logical choice to at least be appointed the acting interim chief. He is would be a candidate for the position. I think you guys need to determine what you want to do as far as process. Like I said, we'll be done with the 2-week posting Friday, and then we could interview any of the internal candidates, and then from there you can decide whether to offer a job to one of them or the only one, if there is just one, or seek it out further from there.
All right,
Make a motion to appoint Sergeant Woodworth as the interim chief.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Job's yours.
Intern.
Intern.
Do you guys have any preference right now as far as what to do with the position search?
We really haven't discussed too much about it.
No,
Let's,
we'll wait till Friday till it closes out.
yep, it would probably be premature to
Yeah.
make a decision now,
Yeah, for that week.
so we'll let the internal one expire and then go from there.
Okay.
Yep.
John, you can go too, if you want. Or you can move over and
You
sit.
can sit with the big chair now. you know.
sit next to Bill.
You might be competition.
Well, the problem is my name's not Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can't sit
Oh,
I may
that-
not get the job.
Yeah, you
because I'm
guys
not-
sit beside Mike.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. We don't have, you know, Tim's now. We're gonna ruin our
Now-
street.
Now we're gonna have a John.
Now when they yell at all of my kids, I'm gonna have to pick different names.
Call me Johnny as it is, so that's easy. Thank you.
Thanks, John. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, moving on to old business. We have the fuel oil propane bids. Sealed bid. We only got one. And it is from Rhymes Propane. We got it August 30th at 3:48 PM. It has not been opened.
No interest from anybody else? No calls, no nothing?
So, only because I had to run downstairs and get them. So, here's what we did. We, so we put an ad in the paper, 2 weeks, or two editions. We sent letters to Al's Plumbing, Fuel and Fuel, Arrow Oil, CN Brown, Franconia Gas, Irving Energy, Styles Fuel, Fitch Fuel, Rhymes, and then we did get some responses from our ad. One from Santa Buckley Energy out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, and Charity, we Charity emailed them the request paperwork on August 26th. We got another one from Direct Energy Business, an NRG company, and on August 25th, and Charity emailed again the formal letter to them on August 26th, and we only got Rhymes. So, I don't know why, the bids were due today at noon. I don't know what you guys want to do, you certainly can accept that one, you don't have to.
I just wonder if the market is too volatile for anybody to,
Did we find
Step
out,
out.
when does our contract expire, the date?
You said that in my hand.
See if we get time to play. The market. See what I put down. Is it
It
major?
expires at the end of, here it is. It is good through this month. September, good through September 23.
I just, like I said, I wonder if the market's too volatile right now to get somebody to nail it down.
So don't read these off.
Because I can't, for my own business, I can't get anybody to commit right now.
Propane's fine, just,
So you guys could, we can vote not to accept any bids, we can put it back out, we can resend out letters and extend the due date if you want, or you can accept that one. We could just let the tanks run out and you can freeze.
What are the rates that,
that's, just don't wanna read it out loud if we're gonna keep it going. Yes, Shane's the one that's been dealing with it.
It's not, it's not too bad.
No, I don't think it is, but the other,
Did they bid both oil and propane?
yes, they are. Propane price looks right.
No, it's all,
That's a good one.
now this,
what was last year's?
so this is,
It was 358.
And- I mean, I don't, I haven't been dealing with it, I wouldn't even know.
The, actually, I mean, we've gone above and beyond what we usually do to
Yeah.
get bids.
Yeah.
And not only has it been in the paper, but we've sent letters and
I think that's close enough.
That is,
I make a motion to accept the bid from Rhymes Fuel.
second?
I'll second.
Yeah.
For both oil and propane?
Yes. okay.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye,
Okay.
because I really don't think waiting later into the year, we're gonna get any better price.
You want to share with us what the price is?
Okay, so the oil is $359.9, and the propane is $154.9.
What did you say last year?
Which is a good price.
Yeah.
First off,
I had no idea about the oil, that's why I paid something
No,
else.
that's really,
It's,
I knew the propane was good.
it's 359.8,
yeah,
Yeah,
it's close to what it was.
yeah.
so it's fairly
How much
close
the
to
price
last
per
year.
gallon?
same price.
359.8.
Who did it last year?
Irving.
Irving, that's what I thought.
All right, cool. Thank you.
I was amazed no one else did it.
All right, now we have winter sand bids. We only got one bid from Carroll Concrete, Carroll Concrete.
Okay.
You don't want to open this?
No, you're the chairman.
Tape 637.
Again, we put ads in the paper, same additions as the oil. We sent letters to Clucci Sand and Gravel, the Addy Enterprises, and Carroll Concrete, and then we have Carroll Concrete.
This thing should have came out at night. This is what they call a sealed bid.
It's worse than Christmas.
It is. Anticipation.
And envelope's kicking his butt.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the only bid we got, but just in case you guys don't want to take it. That's about the number I had in my head, but
And do we have last year's price for,
Yeah, 7 1/4 pickup, 875 delivered. We had it delivered last year.
Excuse me.
with the new trucks, are we gonna be able to haul it ourselves
We're
or?
doing that if we had a full staff.
yeah,
Still
so
looking for one more person.
you won't be we're gonna be doing delivered?
I would like to.
Okay.
I mean, in the future, I'd definitely like to look into
So,
it.
I mean,
I thought that was
it-
that
it-
new dump, I didn't know.
It's definitely.
But if we do
outside.
that, I would want to start the process
Earlier in the year,
spring,
yeah.
so we can truck it on rainy days instead of, sunny days when we can do something else.
Okay. Yep. Can I get a motion to accept bid from Carol?
I make a motion to accept Carol's price for winter sand.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the pickup price is $775, the delivered price is $950.
And we're going with the delivered.
We're gonna be doing the delivered.
Alright. On the agenda, again, the agenda is set up as it's laid out in your rules of procedure, so there is a selecting members report. I don't know if you guys have anything to report, and then we move on to information.
There's one thing that's been troubling me for a while.
Okay.
Is there any movement towards replacing the light pole at the corner of Middle Street
Yeah.
in Maine,
Yeah,
as well as the one where the fountain was?
yes, we've been waiting to find the right one, I just put an order in for those a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
It's been hard to source those.
Yeah. Okay.
And hopefully those will be in by fall. And I gotta get an update from Barry Romando on the fountain too.
Where we're at with that?
Yeah.
Okay, putting together our little energy committee. We have, well, 2 of the people are here tonight, we're still looking for a couple more, so. that
Yeah,
we
I
can-
haven't gotten a chance to put an ad out there
Okay.
yet, but
So-
in order to throw out dates for the meeting,
Okay,
but I will work on that.
all right, thank you.
I don't really have anything because we're still waiting for that.
Yeah, we gotta set something up.
Yep.
All right, So next is just information in your packets. First thing is a dog park presentation. The presentation was made to me, it's not necessarily to you, I'm just bringing it to your attention. A young 9-year-old, Sophia, came and met with me last week, and she presented to me some overwhelming arguments as to why the town needs a dog park. I told her that I do not disagree at all about having a dog park in town, but I certainly discussed some of the issues about, location, picking up the waste, the dog waste, because that seems to be a problem even when people walk their dogs in town. But it was a very impressive presentation by a very impressive young lady. And I guess I wanted your blessing in maybe working with her and trying to kind of formally look at options and opportunities to find a location maybe for a dog park, or to just determine that it's not possible, we don't have any space in close proximity to town or and then maybe we could have her come and do a presentation to you guys. Courageous little girl.
I didn't,
No,
I haven't read through it, but it's not a bad idea to have a small area, an area like that, with all the tourists and all the people parking here with all the dogs, especially like on a Saturday. There's cars parked every which way here with people with dogs. It does make a lot of sense for the town.
yeah, I agree. Look into it then.
The issue will become keeping it clean.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously that would be, one of the conditions would be if it's abused and people don't take care of their dogs, then we just shut it down and it's no longer dog park anymore. So I think the big thing is trying to find a location in close proximity to downtown, so you're not having to walk, or even drive way out of town to bring a dog to the dog park. So the idea is just to be able to walk, the majority of the people that live in town walk to it, or people that maybe live in the units above Main Street, if they have dogs, to be able to bring them out and about.
Do we have any of the lots down on Canal Street along the riverbank still?
We do.
Or is-
There is that small lot that's right across from the new parking lot and right next to the church. It's a small area where Tim helped Tricia Furnett put up one of the benches. I don't know how big it is, whether it would be big
Be
enough.
big enough or not? Yeah.
Behind the courthouse where the ice rink is, that's an idea.
Turn the ice rink,
So,
turn the ice rink into a dog park.
but I think, I would like to work with the little girl because I think she's put a lot of work into this and a lot of thought into it, a lot of research into it, so.
I think this
we'll try to come up with something.
young little girl walks my mother's dog.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So there was that. In your packet too, there was a mid-year report from AV Home Care. You guys remember they did not get funding this year because they didn't have a representative, but they have committed to still keeping the town informed of their activities in town. And although they're disappointed in not getting the funding, but still their commitment to working with the town and the residents to try to provide the best services possible. So I'm very appreciative of that. You also had in your packet the zoning board meeting notice from August 30th, as well as upcoming planning board notice for September next week. And then you have 2 land use permits, or 5 land use permits. One is for Empower Energy for Joseph Spear at 10 Mayberry Lane to install a roof-mounted solar array. Kevin and Joanne Whiting at 68 Buffalo Road on the foundation of their former home to construct a garage, a 27 by 40 foot carriage style 2-bay garage on slab. Dan Vondell, 112 Wesson Road. This is a renewal of a previous permit to construct a post and beam shed or small cabin, I should say, on piers. That's at the corner of Wesson, pretty much Wesson and Mount Prospect Road. Gage Sharon at 424 North Road to construct a 26 by 30 2-bay garage, detached 2-bay garage on a concrete slab. with only electric service. And then Henry and Karen Bernard at 16 Gore Road to construct a 24 by 36 building with a metal roof, intended use for an animal shelter and small storage block. And that's all I got.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm all set.
I'm good.
Anything else? Okay,
And under public comments, I know this is a town versus state matter, but it used to be a crosswalk from the library across, and it's gone now. I know it gets very heavily used, and yet the one that goes from the law offices across to Centennial Park is still there, but it doesn't get much use. There's an awful lot of pedestrian traffic there on weekends, you know, the farmer's market and everything, and certainly everyone who tries to cross to use the post office would find that one to be a useful and safe thing to have. Can you remind me why, that's the state that covers that, right?
Yeah, so what,
We had the discussions about the flashing lights and the,
yeah, no, and I remember it came to the select board and prioritizing the crosswalks, the ones that they wanted removed, and the ones, how many they wanted removed, which ones were to be removed. I'll take the blame for the fact that the one by the post office is gone and the one by Centennial Park is there. I felt it was more important to have the one at Centennial Park there because maybe it's not used a lot, 7 days out of the week. That
certainly
one
high
day on
volume.
Saturday is tremendous.
yeah.
So I felt that was more important than the occasional use of the one by the post office. And it was, I mean, basically the state said it's one or the other. Actually, they wanted the one by Centennial Park gone. They wanted the one by the library. I said I would much rather have the one by Centennial Park kept and the one at the library gone. And they said that's fine.
What I noticed is that northbound citizens who are going to go to the post office are much less likely to walk up to Waystack or Frizzell and come across, but there's a lot of daily traffic there. So,
I can tell you, by watching it every day, they're not walking up to that, they're crossing right where the
Yeah, right.
crosswalk was.
I-
And I think part of the problem was connecting the crosswalk directly to the next sidewalk. They didn't like the fact that it kind of ended in the street.
In the street, right.
Yeah, that was a
That was
thing
the
where-
determining factor.
That was, there would have been some work required to make it go, not, as you said, end in the street. That's where we have an issue with one on Main Street between Bunker and Middle Street. At some point, when we do any type of work on that sidewalk, we have to relocate the one that goes from alley to alley by the Rialto,
Mhm.
because they said that shouldn't be allowed either, but they were willing to allow us to keep that one until we do put some work to move it. But
well, if it ever comes up again, I vote for one right there in the corner again. And also, I don't use the one from Dollar Store over to Scorpios very often, but when I'm driving by, well, there's a lot of pedestrian traffic there.
that's one of the locations where, when we have the funding and stuff, we would put one of those warning lights.
God forbid.
They wanted one even in the park section, and we were able to kind of get them to step back from that.
The most dangerous one, I think, is the one you just talked about, with Scorpios, because when the cars are parked on both sides of the road, you cannot see the pedestrians.
Absolutely.
Come out from the.
I'm amazed that hasn't got seriously hurt there. It's a real hazard.
Especially in the wintertime.
And originally, when we were discussing Main Street, they weren't gonna allow parking in that area. They were gonna stop it.
Yeah, several years ago, there was a proposal, last time they paved Main Street several years ago,
Right.
before they striped it, they came to the town, they wanted to put in a center turn lane, eliminate basically a center turn lane from the roundabout to, I think, to Depot Street.
It's a depot.
Wow.
And it would have eliminated all the parking on that side of the road.
Well, it's a crazy intersection because you got people coming out from School Street behind you and people coming down Bunker Hill. So noted.
I figured out that those sidewalks are closed, how long are we gonna keep those signs up?
You're gonna have to ask the state on that.
They put them up.
They're not our signs.
No, that's a state, that has nothing to do with town.
Well, one of the Catholic Church, for instance, makes you go over into the other opposing lane they're blocking part of the traveled way. It shouldn't be there. It's gonna be great and has, and I say, like I say, I've already figured out that sidewalk crosswalks closed. It took me a month to get the signs up, but I figured it out. I think most other people have. Can you ask if they take this thing down?
Okay. Took you a month?
Huh?
Took you a month?
Yeah, 15 months as well, you know, that's why they kept them up so long.
I planned on reaching out to them this week. I figured they wanted to, their plan was to keep them up at least through Labor Day because of all the
I'd
traffic.
rather tell them that when they're trimming roadsides, if they destroy a tree, you take it clear to the ground instead of leaving it up. That by Mary Elizabeth Lane, they completely denuded the tree and left the stalk. Standing, you know, cut it with a chainsaw if you're gonna get rid of the tree, but don't make it, it's an eyesore.
I will ask them. I'm not gonna tell them because I don't have much authority to tell them anything.
I told them at the fair, I said, looks like hell.
Is the tree still there?
Sure.
That's why I'm not gonna tell them.
Well, they're talking, the rest of them. But you see what I'm saying, the
Yeah.
town, your town trimmers should know the same thing. You don't strip all the red branches off the tree and leave the stalks, it looks like, you know. If it's that bad, then they should take it out and get a chainsaw.
Alrighty, motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn, 7:21.